roll-ups? When do we start rolling our own cigars? When did that happen? Everywhere you look, you can get cigarillos 2 for $1. It's on every corner. You see cigarillos 2 for $1. How do you think that is? They want to make that as inviting as possible to you because you don't think the same under the influence. Not be confused and thinking that smoking weed, drinking, and all these different substances are not going to make you think differently because they can. So to answer that question is absolutely drug effect our state and in turn affects our being.
Let me just say this real quick on that. It's called a controlled substance for a reason.
Yes.
Even beyond alcohol, they're called spirits for a reason. So don't let the substances control you. Okay? Be able to think for yourself. You can't think clearly when you're under control or influence of some drug or chemical that you put into your body. Just want to throw that out. They call that for a reason. So don't let that control you. Ain't no right. You echo what the gentleman said earlier about token statements. You echo it. You're absolutely right. Absolutely right. Hurt people. That was mentioned earlier.
No, don't use the mic. Don't use the mic.
We're not going to let things force us outside control who we are. And just listen to you talk. You already got the answer. You're on the right track. So continue to just stick to what you know. It ain't the right path. It's us. Like you said, we're fighting against each other.
everybody in there. If you want to smoke, you don't put your man and go smoke. You want to go see a girl, you put your man and go see a girl. Like, we can sit down and watch people, like, we acknowledge people who really don't care about it. Like, we sit around, we acknowledge Lil Wayne and all that, the Chief Keef and all that. And Lil Wayne ain't thinking nothing about it. He's somewhere sitting in the names while we sit here just trying to acknowledge him. And instead of us just trying to, grab each other and just cuff each other, we sitting around just trying to be like him, be like him. Like, to me, if I ever get rich, my goal was to just come back and just help the homeless and just help everybody who's not living right. Just help the people who struggle around it. That's my goal.
I totally one thing is, brother, I don't think these young men should walk out this room or something without somebody calling them as a panelist and advisor. Because he don't know. But someone say, can I make a request, fellas? Wake up, everybody does the food, got the lights around? Yeah, so we got 40 minutes left. I'm wondering, because I'm like, this is enough of us. How about we break this off into circles and each panelist take a circle so that we can chime up a little more of an intimate level with each of the participants, because we're not getting full participation in this way. And it makes us look like us up here and y'all down there. I've been on the panel with Vinny a lot. You might not even believe the probation panel thing, up together. So I'm thinking maybe that possible if each of us got 75, 78 kids in the group.
We can hear you good. Put that mic.
I'll say when it comes to like rebuilding my self-esteem, it is hard as a young man when you're expected to grow up and be a man and nobody's really teaching you how to do it. Because you have to find people who are like images of what you want to do. I've had men in my life, but none of the men that were in my life were really the image of who I was growing into as a young man. So I kind of had to define what being a man was for myself, and I had to figure out how do I be confident. I used to have to really take a chance and become confident in who I wanted to be. If I saw somebody that was in church that I wanted to look up to, I watched him. I studied how he was with his wife, how was he with his kids. I studied how he was when he was with me. When I saw my peers who were doing positive things, I watched them and I studied them. The ones that I really wanted to have relationships with, I hooked up with them, and I figured out how do you operate the way that you are. And I took a little piece of everybody, and that really is how I built my self-esteem and my confidence in becoming who I am. So I think it's a good idea to really pay attention to other people and be able to really define who you are based on, who you feel like you're on the inside.
Let me ask you this question. How many of y'all ever find yourself in a position when you probably interacting with some of your buddies or some people and you had to respond a certain way, and when you walk away, you said to yourself, I should have said this and I should have said that. How many of y'all ever had that kind of experience? See, when we are interacting with people and we don't say what we really want to say, but we worry about how they might look at us, walk away, we just lowering our esteem. We lower it like that. When you interact with people in regards, you might feel scared or a little fear that how they might act when you say it. That's the time to say it anyway. Because when you walk away, at least you can feel good that you spoke your truth. That's how you build your esteem. See, I remember I must have been about 14 years old. And a buddy of mine pulled up in a stolen car. And he had a pistol in the car. And he said, come on, man, let's ride across the bridge and we're going to move on these miles. Everything in me say, don't get in that car. But out of fear, he going to look at me like I don't have no heart. Out of fear, he going to go back and tell the rest of my homies that I squared up on him. So I got in the car out of fear how he and my other homies might look at me. And when I got out the car, I didn't like what I did. I didn't like it. That's how I was lowered my esteem. And so all being young, growing up, I learned I wasn't developing friendships like that. I was developing what you call fearships. Doing things out of fear on how my homies gonna look at me if I got hard. You know, going through Stateville. I was in Stateville maximum security penitentiary. It ain't nothing. It's common to be in Stateville penitentiary, being in a cell with a guy that might have a life. I mean, he ain't coming home no more. Or he been there 20 years and don't care if he go home. But I knew I had out there and find myself responding to my circumstances based on how I want people to look at me. And when I walked away, I didn't like the decision I made. That's how you bring your esteem down. Building your esteem by doing little bitty things that you know is right. And in y'all case, how many of y'all get argued at when you get home because you didn't take out the garbage or you didn't make your bed and all that kind of stuff? And it happens to you over and over and over and you walk away feeling bad because you know you can do better. Am I right or wrong? You know you can do better. See, that's the time you got to change that from your parents, your mother, grandmother, whoever raised you. You got to change from them having to tell you what to do until you take an initiative to do it on your own. How many of y'all done took initiative to do something without being asked and you felt good about it? Not that they applaud you, but you felt good that you did it. How many of y'all had that experience? See, that's how you build your esteem when you know what you're supposed to do. See, because I know God built us up with a spirit, but we develop our spirituality by doing what we know is the right thing. How many of y'all can you imagine going through life and everywhere you go, the message people give you is like, no, we can't trust him. Can you imagine how that being like everywhere you go, people say they can't trust you? Or can you imagine going through life and people say, no, we can't rely on him? Right? But how many of y'all believe that you need somebody in your life you can touch and say, I trust that person? Or I can touch that person, but I can rely on that person. How many of y'all believe you need somebody you can rely on? And see, this is how we build our spirituality. It's when I walk away from a situation and I know I done gave my all. And when I come around people and something needs to be done or needs some advice, they can say, we can rely on Benny Lee. We can depend on Benny Lee. See, because there used to be a time people couldn't do that. And that's called a poor self-image of self. That's called bringing my own esteem down. Because I didn't have the courage to sometimes do the right thing based on what I felt was right and what I thought was right. Because I was too afraid of how guys may look at me like I was a lame or Marshall. Today I ain't got a problem doing it. I'm going to say this and shut up. I got a scar on my jaw right here. I got a cut on my neck right here. Because I got shot point blank with a 38 in the jaw. I was about 18. The guy that shot me in my jaw, he was part of a street gang I was part of. I was his chief. But I did something wrong. I did something wrong to him. So him and 3 other guys come to gun me down. When it was all over, I just got shot in the jaw. When they left, my other homies was like, man, I know you gonna ride down, da da da. You know what I was saying? Yeah, y'all right, I'm gonna strap up and ride down. But you know, deep down inside, I wanted to find him and apologize for what I did. Because I was wrong. He should have killed me. But because my homie was like, yeah, man, you're gonna ride down, you're gonna hand him his hat. And I'm like, yeah, man. And even went so far, I had a shotgun, people slipped the window in, looking for him now. And deep down inside, I didn't really want him. That's how I bring my esteem down, by doing things based on what I expect. I believe others expect from me. I really wanted to get with him and apologize and ask him to forgive me for what I did, in spite of him shooting me in my car. Because I knew I was wrong. Speak up so they can hear, so they won't have to say it. What did I do? I was a hair run addict. You know what hair run is? A hardcore drug. I was a hair run addict, and I was sick. What I mean by sick, I was craving, I was jonesing, I needed a fix. And his wife came in the restaurant, and she was talking to one of my buddies. And she referred to me like I thought I was something, you know what I'm saying? And she said she's gonna show him that, hey, she ain't, you know, and I said to myself, and she just showed $10 snatching her wallet. And she upped her wallet and showed her little money, and I snatched it, but when I snatched it, she had a little infant baby in her arm. And that baby fell out of her arms and hit the floor. I ran out the door, not really now to get away with the money, because I was ashamed of what I just did. I couldn't face what I did. And that's when a week later he ran down on me, because that was his baby. That was wrong. Father me now. I didn't have the courage at that time to apologize and make those amends and correct that. But I was caught on how what my other guys expected. Yes, no.
Listen, this deals with your spirit, spirituality. God, whatever you want to call God, put a fail-safe mechanism in us. And that's what Brother Ben is talking about. You put a fail-safe mechanism in us so when we confuse, or someone has confused us, you put a fail-safe mechanism. That's that thing that you know you're wrong. Ain't nobody got to say it. You ain't got to see it. You feel it. It's fail-safe. He did it for all of us. He put a fail-safe mechanism in. They call it conscience. You can call it what you want, but he put a fail-safe mechanism in you so that you don't even have to ask what I'm doing is right or wrong. That brother fell in his heart because he knew. And the thing about the fail-safe mechanism, it'll work forever. But the more you ignore it, the less it comes. Think about this. The first time you do a negative act, you feel it. The next time you do it, it ain't the same. You don't feel it as much. And the third time you feel it a little less. Each time you do it, you push back. Self-esteem, self-worth, confidence, everything is pushed back each time you ignore that innate feeling, that fail-safe mechanism. It was given to you at birth. So I say to you, when you feel it, that you know what you're doing ain't right now. You ain't got to ask. You know it. And the more you listen to it, the less negativity in your life becomes. Because it's going to become to the point where we know he's going to dismiss us. The more you listen to that feeling, the less that other side comes. The more you listen to the other side, the less this side comes. It's spiritual. It's spirit in your soul. And it's fail-safe. Listen to it. When you know that you're not doing right, that feeling comes, and you acknowledge it, watch what happens. One, you ain't going to do that nonsense you're going to do. You're going to feel good about it. Because now you're going to listen to the brother right here. Right here. What's his name? What's your name? Listen what I just said. Listen. I ain't going to put it. Listen. Listen to what I'm saying. Because it's fail-safe.
I want to get my attention to say that I want to pass something on to my next told me. And success is a journey, not a destination. Success comes with certain prices that you might not like. I say this is if you want to succeed, become a lawyer something. You may go through a lot of struggles and times that are hard, but you may not like all the struggles, but those struggles are part of success. And this destination of success is not going to be easy. I will say it. And it's hard. And I'm just so personal. I just got wasted yesterday and Saturday. You know how hard it was for me to come back today and listen to this? It's hard. So I just gotta say, you know, it ain't always easy. And I gotta really face the fact that, listen, most of us in here are black. And they don't stereotype us all life. But we're not even the ones that can sit up our heads up and say, hey, this is me and that is them. They don't do what they want to do, but I'm going to get the best out of myself. I have to realize that. And I hope that everybody else realizes that. For real. Because it's real time. You can do it. You can do stuff that you do on the street and then come back home. Because I know a lot of stuff that I do on the street. I said, come to it to my mom. My mama was so mad at me, but I gotta think about it. It's better for her to know than for her to die and not for that.
All right, I want to once again thank you for the round of applause.
You're going to get some mixed reviews to that. Let me tell you why, and I'll make this as easy to understand as possible. This once again goes into knowing our history. We should not, but because of the way we were brought over here, we don't know our culture, what music was used for culturally. For us, from where we come from, we have to educate ourselves and understand the purpose of music, not just for entertainment, but for the conveying of information, for the defining of norms and rituals and morals and exchanging things like it was used during slavery times. So we, as a people, bear responsibility as to how we entertain ourselves, right? Unfortunately, we live in a culture that says otherwise. We live in a culture that says you can say and do whatever you want to. But where we come from, if we know our history, that was not the case. You could not say and do whatever the heck you wanted to say and do, especially as it related to something negative. There's repercussions for that. So when we say that there's no repercussions to the types of music that we allow our youth to listen to, that's ignorant, that's stupid. Because if I tell you over and over again that you're stupid, you're going to begin to believe that you're stupid. Children do not plant seeds. It's not possible for you all to. We plant the seeds as adults into your lives. What you see, what you experience, someone else may come around and water and nourish those seeds, and then next we have a harvest. What is the harvest that we see today? And if you trace that harvest to the onset of the negative hip-hop music, you will see that at the point that it began, right now with the youth that began to listen to it, and you look at the age that they are now and what they're manifesting, plant, seed, harvest, okay? What you listen to, even me as an adult, when I'm in my squad car riding around, I listen to AM radio. I don't listen to music. I have to have a clear head. I have to be thinking. So if I'm going to listen to anything, I'm listening to the news. I'm listening to WVON so I can get knowledge to possibly share with someone that I might meet. I don't have time to be talking about Lil Wayne. I don't have time to be talking about Chief Keef, who may end up on my doggone caseload. Okay? So it's not a problem, and this is what you have to deal with your caregivers and your parents. It's not necessarily a problem what you listen to. The problem becomes in
whether or not you can understand it. The problem comes in whether or not you can articulate back to me whether or not it's real, how it makes you feel, what it makes you want to do, whether or not it just makes you want to dance, or whether or not it makes you want to go strap up and go get somebody. If you can't articulate and understand what it is that you're listening to or watching, that means one thing to me. You're not old enough to be watching or listening to that. You guys understand what I'm saying? You should be able to explain to me why it is that you do, why do you dress that way? The brother Cherry said something about structure. That's across the board. You need to be able to articulate and explain, why are you going to the store? Why am I going to school? Why do I dress this way? Why do I listen to this music? I enjoy what they're saying. What are they saying? Can you tell me what they're saying? And what that means? And whether or not it's demeaning or not. Listen, we all know right and wrong. Period, point blank. There's nothing right about listening to somebody talk about go kill somebody else. Why is that entertaining? There's nothing right about listening to somebody talking about getting high or selling drugs. We have to understand what we communicate to the world about what entertains us, about what turns us on. Now, historically, there's some things I can share with you about where all this stuff comes from. This stuff was given to us. This is not what we bring from the motherland. This is not who we were as a people. Fact. But unless we educate ourselves as to how to get out of that cycle, then we're going to continue to repeat it, and then we'll get caught up in the cultural American conversation about First Amendment speech rights. They didn't write the Constitution for you and us. So therefore, why are we thinking we should be able to participate on the negative side the way they want us to? And it's killing our communities, not theirs. Right? Let me tell y'all this. We don't consume the most drugs in this country, black people. We are not on welfare rolls higher than white people. That's not true. But when you look at your televisions and you hear these people talking, who do they always show? Us. There are more of us on my caseload than them, and they use drugs at a higher rate than we could ever begin to imagine. Which means that they have to sell them too. Right? Right? But for some reason, the negativity of it always focuses on us. Listen, be young. Enjoy yourselves. But educate yourselves as to why it is what you're doing. The music definitely has an effect. These athletes running around here with all this money, showing and telling you all that having all this money gives them a right to be ignorant or to be disrespectful, that's wrong. That's wrong. And no, not necessarily are they your mentor, have they bought on to that? No, anytime you go into the public eye, there's a price to pay for being a public person, for making your money off of other people watching you and contributing to your gym shoes or whatever it is. Then you owe those people some level of responsibility.